From the 8th of the 2nd month of 1443, Queen of Potions, the Devil, the Lovers reversed, 2 of Presents, and the Queen of Candles. Something brings her out, but maybe she should have kept it inside. She needs to make it more about being than the outside. Relationships are nothing to hide from, but what are you needing? Realizations of what is limiting doesn't mean you can't direct your giving. Attention can then be for the purpose of the elect transitioning. And what are your initial thoughts on the poems and cards?
I got several things. I saw like a couple together, and the couple, you know, they're like romantic relationship or whatever, for them to be present, you know, just to be present in matters of the heart, or love, as some might, you know, refer to it as. Being patient and waiting. I picked that up. And then with the other cards, and I know this is going to sound very odd, but it come to mind that you know, like when you're little and you know you're waiting on, you know, Christmas to come, wake up Christmas morning and get Christmas presents. You know, there's nothing worse than opening up, you know, somebody that got you a pair of socks for a gift. I mean, I mean, I'm talking about like, see, when I was a little kid, I know I would be, you know, excited to open up my Christmas presents.
Or when you hear some guy got his wife a washing machine
or a
or a mop
vacuum
or
cleaner.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. And anyway, like I remember opening up, you know, socks for Christmas when I was little, and I was like, oh, I mean, it'd
It's
be
like,
okay now.
yeah.
But
If you're going to get it for somebody anyways, and it's a provision thing or something, it's like, yeah, people need to not do that.
I know,
Um,
right?
so
Um, at least not them, yeah. But
attention. Oh well, we don't need to say who, but I did mention that somebody posted something online from a bathtub, so might as well start with this one. Something brings her out, but maybe she should have kept it inside. And
yeah,
in
hide it.
regard to people like that, we have a you know, relationships are nothing to hide from, but what are you needing? They're the sort of people, it's like, I'll get less attention online if I tell people I'm in a relationship. So I'm not going to do that. And more directed to that, you have attention can then be for the purpose of elect transitioning. And I have, I went to a, so she needs, okay, 15, the devil here. We have, she needs to make it more about being than the outside. And of course, these messages are for anyone, really.
Right, right.
Realizations of what is limiting doesn't mean you can't direct your giving. And
That's where I saw
one
my
can
sock.
definitely look at that with that sort of stuff. It's like, oh, I have to be I have to have more money than I can comfortably spend before I even encourage being charitable or using the collective fund for anything of anybody else or anything like that, you know.
I've never seen any good come out of excess, you know.
Well, you have people like you've heard of Akbar in India. This guy
Mm-hmm.
financed some of the Hindu texts would not exist if this guy didn't finance the collecting and the record and the copying of manuscripts. Same thing with this this one king in Tibet. They collected all these whatever religious texts they could find, whatever religious, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, texts they could find, whether it was
Uh-huh.
black magic, whether it was forbidden black magic or whatever. They just collected it, and it's like they got copies. There's buildings where they have copies of all these. So the Queen of Potions, you know, it is a bit of an art deck, but you
Mm-hmm.
still get some of the meanings there. You know, because the Queen
Yeah.
of Potions would be the reflective thing. So
Mm-hmm.
she obviously has to pay attention. If she's in a cauldron that's cooking or something, she's got to pay attention to that sort of thing and
Yeah.
keep at least not
Yeah.
zoned out.
Yeah. So then, yeah, it's like if you're sitting in a cauldron,
Still
is there fire under it? Because
self-referred.
that could burn. that could burn some, skin.
And they got Mr.
Um,
Oogie Boogie Band.
Boogie, boogie.
And they're like, well, we can trust Santa Claus with this guy.
It's a booger.
But of course, he wants to take over right as soon as Jack is the thing. It's like, he's not dead yet. Let's push it along here, because I was already convinced I was. That's happened so many times, you know. So it's one thing when leadership comes to you. It's another thing when you're doing stuff just to be in charge. But see, he puts on a show, but he doesn't have much going on at the inside. So, but every card's a good and bad card.
Yeah.
Of course, the final scene is, you know, Jack's all alone and all that stuff. But
Lonely.
oh,
Yeah.
what's her name? Oh, I forgot her name.
Yeah.
See, that's what happens when you watch something once every 10 years.
Right. Yeah, it was Jack and I can't think of her name either.
That's not Lucy. It's not
Jack and didn't it start with an M?
Sally.
Sally, maybe.
Maybe. But whatever. The point is that so
Yeah.
they end up together and they're on the same mission, and obviously it's more real. This thing where people are like, oh, we're different. Of course we're different people. What are you
Right.
talking about? You know,
I
because
think
that's what people say nowadays is but you know,
they
they're
draw.
different people, but they can work together on the same mission.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
that they want to keep Pumpkin Town together, and that's going to be the last program of this series. But it's going
Yeah.
to be something I release in 2023 if it's, you know, people are alive.
Right. Right.
And no matter how nice you make these, no matter how nice you make some of these things, some people are always going to get a bit scared and stuff because of the Jack in the Boxes.
Mhm.
To the point where like you don't even want to be at the thing, and sometimes it's because of the clown thing.
Yeah.
You're going to see in a couple Sundays from recording this that I posted a video, and I got Insane Clown Posse, I got a serial killer clown, and
I see. Woo, woo.
so and people are like, why do you put it? It's like I call it dark memes. So you
Right.
got to be prepared. That's, you know, it's not always the, you know, there's so many fluffy decks. I wanted something that's just going to be dark.
Yeah.
And the Queen of Candles, again, like the impulse, but the impulse may be directing other people's impulses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sort of shadow. So there is that shadowing side. And so the shadowing is like this pride. Hey, I am affecting others negatively, but I don't really care necessarily if you want to put the
Right.
negative thing on that.
See
Because
that.
there was these guys that are like very Guns N' Roses style that did this joke about EA quitting. And I think everybody who saw that remembers, oh yeah, the guys that were talking about the slut card, because the Queen of Wands, they give that's their
Mhm.
name for that, because they're like, oh yeah, yeah. um,
Right.
I mean, they're not being mean; they're being playful about it, so that
Right.
because the Queen of the Crowley, she's all dressed in furs, and she's got the high end hats and
Chanel?
or at least the person that the person that marries to be rich. At least that's what you're talking about.
Right.
The person who has a maid but doesn't take care of her own house. Not just because whatever, but specifically works to get in that position just so she can
Yeah.
boss people around.
Yeah.
But as I said, every card's good and bad. It's not.
I would hate for somebody to wait on me if I can't get up and do it myself. I mean,
But
imagine
well,
sitting and just
if
do
you can't if you can get up and do it for yourself, that's
this.
one thing. But
Yeah.
these
Yeah,
royal people that have like people in their own bathroom, it's
I know,
like
man.
not because like
Get out of here.
it's like
Like, get out of
Minion, pour the bath oil.
Make my Mr. Bubble, please. Oh no, I don't have to say please because
but yeah. So I guess we can end via the cards that we were talking
okay.
over. I have put up my Thoth deck, so it's so might as well start because as we're recording this, it's the end of a season. So the seasonal cards are going to be the Ace and Princess of Water. I mean of Cups.
Okay.
And we've got and we also have the Hanged Man again.
Mm-hmm. And okay. And okay, the Ace of Cups. Come here, Ace of Cups. Here is the Ace of Cups. If it will not reflect.
Yeah, because I can't really tell what the symbol is on the thing, but I have from a Halloween clearance this time of year until the cups are like worn out or something. I keep them in the dark and I don't put them in a warm spot so they've lasted longer. But I have these cups, and you can see them in some of my videos that are like they're black cups, they're plastic cups, but they have a hand.
I think I know what you're talking
Skeleton
about.
hand.
And I also like the candle holder that you have. It may be the spider. It's a spider.
Oh yeah,
candle.
I have a spider candle holder. Yeah,
Mhm.
two spider candle holders, I believe.
This card, it looks like there's like a lot of riches in a cup, and it's just pouring out.
Is the mystery coming down or is the mystery
Overflowing.
flowing out? Because certainly
Yeah.
you have the inner thing, the cups. Like for example, if I had finished the Ekankar series, I had it broken down. I think I have a list of that. I may go back at some point because it's a big enough group that one will get enough attention to make it not for attention, but it will have enough of an impact to be worth the effort. And but anyways, experiences. So spiritual experiences is what I put for the cups cards. And but you have all this stuff inside you to work out because obviously within your own vessel is all you have to work with really. You can influence outside the vessel, but you got to have, it's like the Chevalier Sufi order. They talk about the portion of the sea and the portion of the land. You want the portion of the sea is not deadly, daily is the daily meditation, specifically like between dawn and sunrise after morning horizons and between late afternoon and sunset, which is when this is being recorded. They would do that. So spiritual experiences, but you got, so you're dealing with the issues of yourself rather than like biblical approach. The biblical approach, especially the Christian biblical approach, is that you correct the outside. You got this beast of the land, and then you go to the sea. It's like, no, well, you don't stay quiet about whatever's going on outside you if something needs corrected. Like if we pull up the card of the day here, the adjustment card, which is normally called the justice card.
Oh yeah, I like those blues and greens.
Is that there are some things that are precise, and I'm not saying there's not gray. Like one of the symbolisms, if you say Drill Sergeant Gray, well, I believe they're real beings. I'm not saying they're from like outer space or something. I'm like, but what I'm saying about that is like the grayness. It's not black and white, just right and wrong and all, and good and bad. There's different degrees of knowledge and good and evil and all that stuff. So there's a grayness to it. But what defines that can be very precise. And if you weigh things,
yeah,
you got to figure out how things weigh, and that's the thing. And it's very shape oriented because you got all those pointy things. You got spheres and
yeah. I was just getting ready to say that's so interesting. The
it's
point.
like the real thing. You look up the judges in the Bible. The judges. It's not just some, oh, they're appointed to be. No, they're like more like warlords. So it's this, power to execute the judgment, but it's more than just, just some appointed figure sort of thing.
And the way the sword is right down the middle and to the point there at the bottom, that could.
Oh, and it looks like maybe there's like an odd number of spheres from the one look. Don't cart.
Sorry about that.
If you say
reflection.
Well, not really, but it does kind of look like there's two on one side, but either way,
yeah,
it's not just the one aspect. There's other things to consider. Like there's consciousness and there's, well, how you're directing consciousness, and there's the actual physical side of it. So there's the inner and outer side that you kind of, and then of course, if you look at the princess, every ace, the princess is, her throne is really like the ace contains everything of the suit, but the princess is like, the throne is kind of like the ace in a way. And we're definitely dealing with some stuff from the East in that card. And so she may be if you're talking about a progression of development, she may be on the lower end of what you're looking at, but also it's something that, hey, this is a person that can still be trained or is training or something like that. Because obviously emotions are something that, if you look at the pure emotion side of the thing, it's like,
like there's a little fish behind her. That's interesting. A little fishy back there. It's a cute little fish.
Well, the Shining Tribes Tarot, which I did a thing on, the death card has a fish down the middle, and it's given more feminine symbolism in that card than is usual. But okay, what is the card? The card of the day. We did the card of the day. The card of the day.
Let's see.
We haven't pulled out the Hangman this time.
Right. No. Not yet. Here he is.
You can say something a little bit different this time versus the other time.
The Hanged Man. Let's see.
And it's within the grid is within something else. So
Seems
when you
like,
got it narrowed down, the hangman is the trump card for water.
I feel it. Yeah. I don't know, like a
So
reverse.
so it's submerged in the experience. Oh, I've been doing that today. Um, the once submerged in the experience, but you look at, okay, maybe that's supposed to be the water tablet from the Nokian system. So those 12 by 13, that 12 by 13 tablet is a part of the 25 by 27 tablet. And so the 675 square tablet, you know, so you're a portion of the whole, basically, because the 675 square tablet represents the material universe. And the black cross on it, of course, represents the spiritual side, presence in the middle of it all. And I also would not recommend jumping to do the 10th author. And I don't mean just the stuff that Crowley did with Victor Neuburg out in the desert. I mean that the 10th Enochian author is not the one to start with. If you're going to do everything in sequence in one day, do one. Day 30 of the moon, do 30. Okay, but I mean, starting with number 30 is number 10 is not the one to start with. Because it's sort of the abyss. You don't want the sort of tearing, scattering sort of thing when you're just, okay, I'm going to start. That's going to be my opening meditation.
Right.
Like when they got you on some of the shamanism thing or some of the Tibetan tantras and all that stuff, and they don't start you with the meditation about your body when you die. This is what's going to happen, and you know, unless they really don't like you and maybe want to see if you'll leave or put you in the fire test right away. Instead of being serious about helping you along. And of course, the Ankhs, again, another feminine symbol. I mean, it has different contexts too, but you know, remember that thing with the Tutankhamun? You have all these Ankh symbols, the sun's handing out all these little you know what I mean? Did it pause?